Hey y'all, let's do a quick reading, shall we? I want to do 3 cards on what your future self would tell you, or what your future self would tell you now. So, bottom card is 3 cups. I love this deck, this Tarot of the Abyss, and it's very first person-y, sort of, from the perspective of the drawings. This, I'm really picking up a past, present, future energy, which means we're on the right track. All right, so first card is the Tower, 7 of Wands, and King of Swords. Very clear cut energy, these cards together, saying don't be afraid to go through the hard work, the challenging work, even the emotional work. Don't be afraid of flipping your life upside down in order to achieve your dreams, in order to move forward toward your path. The status quo and sticking with what's expected of you right now from others is not going to get you where you need to be. So your future self is telling you, don't be afraid of those moments and those decisions that might change your life completely, turn it upside down. And yeah, it might even be an emotional decision, but it's one that you have to make. Or 2 or 3 or 4 or 1,000 decisions that you have to make between now and then in order to reach your highest potential and your highest success. So we're gonna pull on the 7 of Wands from the Cards deck. Woo! Cards deck is super slippery. It's been greased. Some WD-40 on this deck. I think you already know part of this. There is the Moon card slipped out there. I think you already know part of this. I think you know that there, and this was up in the weekly reading too, but a little bit, but I think you know on a certain level that if you keep some of the secrets you've been keeping, it will affect your future. Excuse me. And that's what's been going on. That's what the future is telling you, is like, yeah, you're absolutely right. You gotta let that shit out, even if it turns your world upside down, brings you that tower moment. You lose everything, your sense of self, your sense of identity, your ego. Like, you might be doing some shit that you're not in alignment with. How can you tell? Well, let's ask the universe. So 5 of Wands. You overthink it. If you overthink it, it's probably not the right path for you. If one day it sounds like a good idea, the next day it sounds like a bad idea, blah, 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 blah. You're overthinking it all the time. Either one way or the other is better than overthinking. So that's the bottom card. And the 5 of Wands is brought to us by the Hanged Man. All right, so clarifying, we've got the 10 of Cups, we've got the 5 of Swords, and we've got the 3 of Wands. So again, with this message of it does take challenge. You have to be, it's like you have to be tested by fire. You have to be baptized, you have to be tested by fire in order to achieve your highest personal self. It doesn't come easy. You can't like meditate your way to the highest self. You have to go through tough challenges. You have to completely rip out your ego. You have to go through heartbreak and loss and yeah. I you know, I'm not even sorry to say that. I'm not even sorry to say that, you know, for those youngsters and the youths who may or may not be watching this, I doubt they are, but for the youths, you know, they don't realize now that the struggle isn't just what is character building, but it's what galvanizes your spirit. It's what carves out the best part of you. Like, there's a lot of fluffy static, calcified static, a lot of external and internal Five of Wands energy that keeps you from being yourself because it's either influenced by other people or the culture or the way that you were raised or your perception of self. And the only way that you can chisel that out is through hardship. Like, you can't just like wish it away. You have to cut it out. And I'm sorry that that's graphic, but the only way that it's cut out is through challenge and through really discovering what is absolutely important to you. So if you say, well, I've been doing XYZ, I think it's my life's goal, you know, I want this goal in 10, 15, 20 years. I think evaluation of that right now is really good because you're going to have clarity right now. And I think that's what the universe is saying, you know, from your future self is clarification is easier to obtain right now than other times in your life. Okay. Clarification is really, it's easy to see clearly. Okay. Right now. And then it's also easy to see the fraud from the authentic. And that includes in your own heart. So if you're starting to see something about yourself that doesn't really ring true, that doesn't align with who you think you are, listen to that self. Listen to that part of yourself. I hope that makes sense because, well, all right, let's pull on the King of Swords. And I apologize about my washing machine or my dryer, whatever that is. You know, there's this little option on the dryer to turn off the little song that it sings, and so it just shuts off and you don't get to hear it. And from time to time, I really wish I would do that. This is one of those moments. Okay, let's do the King of Swords. The cards are very funky. I feel like though, even with this King of Swords, like he has something to prove. Like it's almost like he has something to prove intellectually. There's a piece of paper. There's a college transcript in his hand. That's what that is. All right, so this is done. It's exhausted. Okay, we have Strength as the bottom card. Wow, the Chariot, the Knight of Wands, and the Two of Cups. All brought to us by the Strength card. The other thing that's kind of coming through is that you might be inclined right now to think that you're on your own and that you can do it best, and you're rather brutal about it. But there are partnerships and mentors and allies that you could really use that would help you, if nothing else, help keep you in check. Help keep you in check as you go forward. Like so like this isn't the best analogy, but it's what came to mind. So like when you're bowling, I think you're bowling with a 20-pound ball, and you're like, I can do this, and the pins are set up, and you roll it down the lane. Those partnerships and those allies that you meet, that you trust, especially mentorships in whatever capacity, like men and women who have done this thing that you want to do, who have already done it, okay? If you're able to rely on them a little bit rather than just going absolute Han Solo on everything, then that's kind of like the bumper guards being put up, so your ball doesn't end up in the gutter guards. Kind of like putting up the gutter guards. There's no shame in that. If your goal is to knock down all 10 pins, why wouldn't you? Especially if this is your first time bowling, like, why wouldn't you put up the gutter guards? Why wouldn't you have those allies? Just take the assist. I think that's a little bit of the message here from the universe, the future self, what have you. All right, let's do the Tower. It's not it's not easy. It's getting stuck in my throat, like literally. It's literally getting stuck in my throat, and this whole message. Okay, that guy flew out. It's the Ace of Pentacles. But I really do feel like it was upside down. Okay, let's see here. The Tower was the Tower here, was the Tower here. If we could just see that little guy who's holding on to the house. If he could just actually let go. That's a feather bed. That is a feather bed below him. And he could land and he could walk away, and the storm is a very small storm that's just on his house. He could just walk away, and there's a mansion on the other side. Sometimes you don't know what you're holding on to so ferociously. Sometimes it's crap. Sometimes we're afraid to change, and we're holding on to this life that we know. And it turns out that the life that we're holding on to, or the thing, is crap. So, Temperance. That's a pretty car. I'm sorry, but I do like the Volvos. All right, Wheel of Fortune. 6 of Pentacles. Yeah, a Page of Cups. So now is, I think your future self, Pepita, hey, your future self might be trying to tell you that now is kind of the time where you need to have that shift in ego. Like the timing is right. The timing is right for you to make those shifts in awareness. Anyway, That's my reading. I hope you enjoyed it. Just your little 3 card, what your future self would say to you. Just a little advice from your future self. Good luck